Then this is construct. I want to mention this page first because if you look at it, there's like a ton of examples. And they really help.
Yeah, there seems like a ton of diverse examples too, so that is very helpful.
Some of them are too complicated though. Like this one. Oh wait, I shouldn't do that. I should do my workshop. Like, look at these.
I like that. But oh my god.
Wow.
There's like so much things.
But it's so suitable for today.
It is?
For Halloween. It looks
is very spooky.
Fuck, you're right. Settings, blah, blah, blah. Preview, dialogue. Yeah, okay. Yeah. They give you like the full source codes to this, so that's pretty nice. So yeah, let's go over some basics and make a new project. Let's call it something workshop. Okay. So, Franny, Julia, have you done the like getting started thing for construct?
Yes, I did. I've also started trying to build my game out a little bit.
Okay, okay. What have you been able to do so far? And do you have any like requests or questions?
Well, I guess we can probably go through the basics for everyone else who may have not tried that out yet. But basically, my game's pretty grid-based, like a puzzle game, and I've been able to like make the thing that I'll be able to click on move alongside my mouse and be able to change to two different tools. So like destroying one when I click to create the other, and vice versa. That's probably a terrible explanation. When we get to that point, I can show you where I'm at, where I'm stuck.
Okay. Okay. Because for the basics, I was gonna go over like a platformer, just to explain some things. So let's get started, I guess. So you go here. I'm gonna make this like 32 by 32. It's gonna be a purple cube. So one thing that's like super important to mention is that for creating a player when you make a game, you usually want like, you want to use two sprites. So wait, let's just call this one And another one. Oh, that one. Right. Did I write that wrong? Yes. Okay, so since it's a platformer, it's gonna need a level. Level is gonna be a tile background for now. Let's go with we're only gonna draw lines on 2 sides. And then when you put it in the game, you can like stretch it. So that's nice. Gonna add a layer to bottom. It's gonna be background. No, it's gonna be level, and we can add a background bottom. Wait, do we even need that layer 0? I don't think so. Not for now. So you go to background, you and you go to level. This layer doesn't need to exist. You're gonna be at 0, 0. No. New object type. This is gonna be everything good so far?
Yep, so far so good.
Wait, shit, this one's way too big. Okay, so we're gonna give this one, we're gonna call it collision, and we're gonna give this one a behavior. We're gonna call it solid. And then for the player collision, we're gonna give the behavior platform. And then we take the solid, we take the player, we start the game, and no, it sort of works.
Beautiful.
So the camera wasn't following, so we have to go into the player, and then give it the behavior. We can give it the behavior scroll to, and that's gonna be like kind of a camera. Or we can go in the event sheet. And we go to like, we create a new event. Every tick means, every tick is the same thing as nothing. So if I do this, it's gonna be the same thing. Because if there's no condition, then the code always executes on every frame. That makes sense. Question mark?
I think so. So when I was playing around, I added like every tick but in system, but I can basically just not do that because that's the default. Is that right?
Yeah, because every tick basically means there's no conditions. It will always happen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
So I'm going to do an action. Scroll to object or position. For now, I'm going to go position because it's cooler. I'm going to player collision.x, player collision.y. Done. Run the game. And now there's like a camera and it follows you around. So that's pretty nice. But the player collision, let's make it 16 or 1632 is too big. Do you know why there's a player collision and a player sprite?
No.
Like, is the sprite just the image and the collision makes it solid, I guess?
Yes,
Maybe.
you control the collision, but why is that important?
I guess without it, it would just fall right through the platform because it's not solid. It's just a.
Yes, but you could make your sprite solid.
True. Okay, I don't know.
Are there maybe times
Oh.
where you don't want your sprite solid, or is that just off base?
So the problem that happens a lot when you make your player collisions your player sprite is that when you want to add animation to something, let's just find some animations. Do I have animations? Animation, export, full. Yeah, let's just go with that. A blah, blah, blah. Wait, view, extra large. Let's take this one. So this is like a running animation. And if you look at like the bottom, like the height of the character changes. And so if you look at the collision polygon, it changes depending on the frame. Right? And so if you were to put this animation in your game and have your character walk around, the collision would keep changing and your player would like keep bumping in the floor and in the walls when they're moving, and we don't want that. So what I usually do is I set to bounding box and then apply to whole animation and then don't really worry about it. Let's just call this one and then add one. I'm gonna call, come on, rename. Oh, and we're gonna import that one too, because I don't know, we might as well. Also very important is the image point. That's like what the game considers to be the X and Y of your character. But with your origin, you can add more image point if you need to. Like when you started in tutorial with like the character's gun, right? So for this character, let's make the image point like her feet. And then apply to all animations. There we go. We go into player collision. We're going to put the origin at its feet. And now they should match. And when you play, nothing happens, right? Because you have to make them work together. So what if I just set player sprite, set position to player collision on X, collision.Y. And now there it is. I'm moving my player.
It's cute.
Very,
And
very cute.
what can I do is go over here and make the collision invisible. And there you go.
Can I ask
Or-
a question?
Yes.
For the camera, it's like a rectangle. Is there any way to like control the size or the shape of it?
What do you mean?
Like here it's like kind of like widescreen. As a
Yes.
rectangle. Say you want.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So it's like over, if you click, okay, so construct kind of weird. You have to click on things on the right to get things on the left. And so you have to go into your project's like topmost folder, and you're gonna get display options. Do you see them?
Yes.
So you can change like the scaling mode. This is gonna be like, it's gonna like take your viewport size and it's gonna scale it. It's gonna remove the black bars and just show what's under there.
Okay.
Scale inner, it's gonna remove instead to fit, to not exceed the maximum size of viewport size.
Okay.
But one of the problems with pixel art is if you use those other full screen modes, sometimes it does not look that great. It's like a complicated thing, but if you look closely, the size of this pixel is bigger than the one on the top of our head. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
So that's something to be aware of. So what I did, it works for now because there's only one player collision and one player sprite. This is a great segue for going into events. So let's make another one. How construct events work is there are three parts: the margin, the condition, the action. We're going to focus on condition and action now. Whenever you rewrite a condition, like you add an event and you have to pick a condition, like player collision, platform is moving, right? Like is on floor. Wait, we can go back to Joe one. At event, a condition is moving, and player platform. No, this is an action condition. Is on the floor. So if the player's moving and the player's on the floor, then the sprite should set its animation to run, right? but then I can add an else and then set the player animation to idle. So what happens is if one of those condition, if both of those conditions is true, this is going to happen. And if any of them is false, this is going to happen. Right? But we didn't set our sprites to loop. So we should go here, make run a loop, make idle a loop. There we go. Play the game. Oh wait, I should put the character on action player sprite. Let's just move to top for now. Okay. So we have the character and we can move her around.
Man, so like with this program, it kind of does the programming for you, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yes and no. You
Okay,
can also make your own.
yeah, but that was like so much, I don't know, visually more good for me to understand it.
I
Yeah,
feel the same way.
yeah, that just blew my mind. Yeah.
I'm gonna add another event. So because, okay. So when you move your character around, she's not turning, right? So we have to add something to make her turn around. So it's like, how do you know if she's going left or right? Let's try compare speed. No, that's not gonna work. We can make it so that whenever you press like the left or the right key, it flips her around. But honestly, that's kind of annoying because then you add other actions and conditions when you press the key and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh no, what's happening with my code? So let's make something easy. We're gonna add an instance variable to the player. We're gonna call it old x. We're gonna make it so that on every tick, set value old x to self x. But we want to put that one at the bottom. And then before that one happened, because you know that the events execute from top to bottom. And so what we want to do is we want to check if no, cancel condition. I'm going to compare instance variable old x. So if you know x is the horizontal plane, if you add to it, you go to the left, and if you remove from it, you go to the right. And so we want to make it so that if old x is smaller than self.x, do you understand why? What that means?
I think so. So basically, it's like there is an instance variable, just kind of like a number or whatever it is that's
Yeah,
stored
but
on
instance
you.
variable means that you store it in the object. So every single object can have the same variable, but the same variable can have a different value.
Okay, so if the value of x is less than where you were at the last tick, then you're probably going left, whereas if it's more than where you just were, then you're probably going right. Is
Bingo.
okay, good.
So for this, to flip an image, there's multiple things you can do. You can set the size to like its self size minus, or you can just use flipped or mirrored. Where's flipped? So flipped is vertically and mirrored is horizontally. So we want horizontally. Done. Else greater than, set mirrored to not mirrored. Shit, this might work or might not work. Let's see. Oh, it's upside down. So let's switch it around. Okay. And we try moving, and now she turns around.
Yay! Oh, that's so
Ta-da!
cool. Makes it look so much more polished. Love it.
Oh no, where did she
Oh.
go?
I think she's falling for an eternity.
Yes, yes, she is, unfortunately. So this is kind of the basics. Do you want me to keep going in this direction, or I can show you more in-depth events?
I mean, I'd be interested in seeing some of like the potential of the more in-depth events. Is there anything you want to see, Franny?
No, but yeah, I'm down for more events. Would you just set one event sheet to like a character, or would you have one event sheet for everything? I guess.
It's up to you. You can also have one event sheet per level. And you would have like your main event sheet with like your, well, you have like your main event sheet. So what you can do when you create event sheets is, if I go to event sheet 2, I can do include event sheet 1. So it will do the code of event sheet 1 and then do the code here.
Okay, I guess I always hear like the parent-child relationship, so it would make like, yeah, okay, I understand. It would like inherit everything from event sheet 1. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. This is useful if you want to like code level specific things like enemies or cutscenes or whatever. So you would like create an event sheet for your level, and then your event sheet would reference your main code, but have its own separate code on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, dope. Okay. So you see how like whenever, well, let's just get right into it. So let's open a new project. No, I want to see the start page. Let's go advanced example. Tech demos. Yeah, let's go with that one. I like that one. open both because I don't want to mess with, what is this program again? Zoom. Okay. So this is a project. Wait, we can't really see anything. Let's make it smaller. So to make it smaller, you click on the folder name. We're gonna make it 320 by 180. And well, now we can try it again. Now we can see something, but the text is too big. So we go to text, size, we can make it 8. Try again. Okay, no, still a little too big. 7?
Hey.
Perfect. So this is like an example project to test performance or whatever, but it just keeps spawning stuff, right? So this is great for us. So I don't need to write any spawning thing code. We're just gonna get right into it. So this is the event sheet, blah, blah, blah. We don't care. Event sheet, add event sheet. Our stuff. And event sheet 1, include our stuff. That was a joke. Okay. So if we use the same code as before, system, I recheck just to get an event and I remove it. And then we give the sprite a behavior. We're gonna give it 8 directions. And we play. Wait, shit, nothing's happening. Oh, there we go. Now we just lose everything. Right? So if instead of using that, if instead of using a behavior, we would like try to write our own, we would do something like, we have to add the keyboard, add event, keyboard, key pressed, no, key down. I'm gonna go with A, and we're gonna go with D. And so when A is down, sprite position self x plus 1. Wait, no, this isn't right. Self dot y. Do you know? Okay, so I just did something. Let's explain it first. So if I, instead of doing this, I do what I did before. I go sprite dot x plus 1. Here's what's gonna happen. So when I press A, it's just moving. And let's go here and make minus. Okay, now stuff moves around. It looks like it's working, right? So let's do something. Let's make it do something. Let's make it so that whenever it reaches the edge of the screen, it wraps around. So to do that, we have to compare position. So we're going to be like, compare x. So if x is greater than greater than what? So when you're using this engine, if you don't know exactly what you have to type, you can click on Find Expressions. You're going to get this cool pop-up here. And so you can find like all of the expressions of things. And so if I go to System, I can find Canvas. No. Viewport. Oh, that sounds promising. The X coordinate of the viewport. Yes, that's what I want. And let's go with the right edge. No, the left edge. So it needs an argument layer. It's going to be layer. So when you type a layer, you can type it by index. You said at the top right here, there's indexes. Or you can go by name. So layer 0. Since the name is a string, you have to put, I don't know what those are called, quotation marks. So if X is greater than the left, that's never gonna happen. Yes, it's gonna happen. Okay. So left is that way, this is 0, so we're gonna do -16. And I'm gonna copy it. Less than, wait, is it minus? Ah, fuck, I messed it up again. I mean, oh dang, for the editor of the video. So if I do like here and I do set position, because if X is greater than blah, 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 set the position to, oh, wait, I messed it up. It's not gonna be viewport left. It's gonna be, yes, it's gonna be viewport left. Wait, so greater than left, no, it's less than. And then viewport right. Okay. Sorry, that's kind of confusing to me, so I don't know if it's confusing to you. So I'll set the position to this position. Right, if it reaches the end, they should wrap around. So let's copy this one. Okay. And now, ta-da! We have a treadmill.
Beautiful.
Very lovely.
Thank you. There's a problem with this code though. Because whenever something reaches the edge to wrap around, it does not save by how much the object has passed the threshold to wrap around. Right, so there's like gonna be wasted amounts. But that's fine for now. Or is it? Shit. Probably not. Okay, so if X is greater than this, we're gonna write more stuff here. We're gonna go I don't know if it's plus or minus. I always have problems with that. Okay, so if it's greater than this, we're going to do this minus x. And maybe that works. Oh my god. Do you understand what that means?
Sort of, but it's okay.
It's like math. Maybe I should just forget it. Let's just keep it like this for now. So one of the problems that can happen when you write your code like this by using sprite instead of self is if I go to the layout and I add a new object, let's call it, it's going to be sprite, let's call it, oh no. Let's put one here. It's going to be 32 by 32. Okay. So, sprite overlaps with, oh no. Whenever you write events, you can always do like invert, so it's like the opposite. So if I do this, it's gonna only move whatever is not touching oh no. And so, wait, shit. Do they even have? Oh no, that's not the movement. That's like to flip on the screen. So of course it's not gonna work. Okay. Correct me when I'm wrong. So now they stick to it because they can't move once they start touching it.
It looks cool though.
That's pretty cool. Wow.
It's like a snowplow.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's a really interesting view of performance. Like when I look at performance stuff, it's all just a bunch of numbers like flickering all over the place. But this is a lot more visual, which is cool.
Yeah.
So the problem with it now is that once they touch it, they can't move ever anymore because once they touch it, that the condition is never going to be false, right?
Yeah.
And so instead of writing it like this, what I'm going to do is when the sprite is overlapping, compare if the x is greater than, oh no, dot x, and if it's less than or equal, because why not? So if something is touching it, to make it stop touching, we have to move it to the side. So we can just do something really simple, and we go like set position to. So if it's greater, it should be plus. it smaller, it should be minus. And now whenever something's touching it, it's gonna like bounce off.
That is even cooler.
Yeah, it looks so neat.
No, it's like real snow.
Cha-cha, real smooth.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to make a game on like snow plowing instead.
I mean, I don't think it's ever been done before. It's a good game
No, you
idea.
just push things around. You just push
Snowplow
things around.
simulator, love it.
Like, do you see how like simple this code is?
Yeah.
If it's touching, you just push it to the side. You don't need to do like some complicated math, whatever, and it works. But one of the things I wanted to mention is it works for now, but it shouldn't work in the long term, is whenever there's multiple objects, you should always use self. Because it's important, because you never know what the, okay, let's start explaining something else. So when I write those events, right, I say like A is down, move everything, D is down, move everything. So what this piece of code actually does is it goes through every single objects in order of creation and then does that code to them. So what happens when you use a condition like this one to check the coordinates is the engine will pick all of the instances of sprite that meet the condition. So for this one is they went to the left side of the screen. And then instead of, so when it does this code here, all of the sprites that went to this left side of the screen were picked by the engine. And so this code will execute on every single picked instances of sprite. And so every single sprite object that went to the other side of the screen will wrap around. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if I like add another condition and I do like, oh yeah, something else I want to mention. So whenever you do conditions on an object, so here, right, there's like all of these conditions here. This will pick, if you follow me.
Not sure what you mean by pick.
Okay, so this whole engine works by something the community calls picking. So the engine will pick every single sprite object that meets the condition and then apply the code to them.
Okay, I think I gotcha.
They will be like selected by the engine. And so whenever you add other conditions, it will go through the objects that were already picked by the previous condition at the top of the tree. event 3. What's the word for this? Like, because if you add sub-events, everything that's below here will still be under the parent event. Does that make sense?
So like they'll only happen if the parent event is happening.
Yes, but also the sprite object will already be picked. So if you try to do something else, like if you try to put this here, it's not going to do anything, because if you're on the left side of the screen, you can't be on the right side of the screen at the same time.
Okay, gotcha.
And so the amount of sprites that are going to be picked are going to be 0. And so it's going to do nothing because there are no sprites that meet those conditions, and not because it doesn't do anything. Question mark, exclamation point.
Okay, I think that makes sense. I haven't quite figured out how it's something I would use. The logic makes sense.
It's something you would use because what happens if you put an enemy in our platformer and you want it to move left and right? How do you detect that an enemy has reached the end of the platform? Right? Oh wait, I can just straight up ask you, what would you do to know if the enemy has reached the end of the platform?
I guess continually check to make sure that his X value is not below wherever the edge of that platform is.
So how do you decide which platforms X and Y you test against?
I guess the one he's on, but if he has to go into other platforms, then I'm just lost.
How do you test which platform he's on?
I don't know. I would probably just put them all of them on their own platform and call it a day.
Is that when you would kind of nest it? Since it checks for certain conditions and then runs code? I don't know. I'm lost.
Oh, what I would do for that
Yeah.
is like, oh shit, I can just show you. That'd be great. I would do something like this. So I would take my controlling sprite and I would add image points. I would add one to like here, and then add another image point here. So what you can do with sprites, or like every object that are the same type, so those are sprite objects, what you can do is put them in a container. What a container does is whenever one of them is created, the other is created too. One of them is deleted, the other is deleted too. But also, whenever one of them is created, whenever one of them is picked, all of the other objects are going to be picked in the container. And so if I add a new object type, it's going to be a sprite. Just call it left for now. Right. Sorry. Just call it collision right. This is going to be like 2 by 4. Gonna put, wait, that's not 2 by 4. Is that right, 2 by 4? Okay, let's do 6 for now. Oh, okay, that's why. Let's make it green and put this here. And so what I would do is this new object, collision right, I would set its position to a collision image point X. This is the image point 1. So if I run the game, now I have a bar on my character, right? This bar is texting the collision, and so if the bar is not touching the floor, I could force the character to stop.
Oh, that's cool. So they're not like already
That's
falling off
very
before it
cool.
even notices that it's going to fall off. Like whiskers, cool.
Pixelated whiskers.
Exactly.
So for that image point, that's actually adding that image point. I think is something that's going to help me on a specific problem I'm facing. How did you target that specific image point that you created?
So it's dot image point X and then the image point's index. Another thing with this engine is if you need help, you can click on help. And now it won't show on camera. Shit. But it opens the manual and then you can type image point. Then wait, I can just paste this in the chat. Where's the chat? Oh shit. Chat. Okay, I found the chat. I can paste this here. This opens up the sprite manual, and then you can press Control F in your browser, type image point, and then it's gonna go to image point.
Okay.
And then you have the documentation and it says image point X, name or index. And so if I go back here, I can rename this collision right.
So say I have an object that I want to have follow my mouse. I say this hypothetically, but I do. That's actually what I have, and it does follow my mouse. However, I want it to, my mouse, like it always to be centered onto my mouse. Because of the grid I'm using, when I create the object, the origin point has to be the top left corner, or else it doesn't follow my grid anymore. But whenever I create those objects that are following my mouse, I want like to just be over the middle of it instead of over the edge. Can I?
So you want to, like, when you move your mouse, the thing is always on the grid?
Yeah, so I've got that. I've got the, like every tick I set position to, it's hard to read with all the brackets, but round mouse.x divided by 32, which is my grid size, close bracket times 32, which again is my grid size. And I'm setting it to follow my mouse around, and that's working fine. It's working great, and it's moving along my grid, which is
Can
excellent.
I say something?
Yes.
What do you do on top of that? Like, don't you round it or?
Yes, yeah, it's rounded.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. But it's just kind of like I move my mouse and it's kind of following, but I think it's following from the origin point instead of from where I want it to. So I'm trying to set the point that follows it to be that image point instead of the origin point. But it's a little complicated because I keep having to recreate those things.
You can
Maybe I've set
also-
it up wrong, but
I mean, we're here so we could look at it since nobody else is here.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, if you don't mind, since we're
Yeah,
kind of on
no,
that kind of thing.
While you do it, I'm gonna run to the washroom. I'll be right back.
Sure. I can try to, I'll share my screen here. That's probably the easiest way. Although I think that ends your screen sharing. Are we able to both? Should I share my screen? Would that be most helpful?
Yeah, I think that would be most helpful. You can go ahead, unless Eleanor has to stop sharing her screen first.
Oh, do I have to?
Oh, no, I think it's,
Cool.
I think it's
you
working.
stole it.
Yes. So basically, this is what happens right now. It'll always start out with my purple one. This is kind of I'm going to
This
be
is
using it
sick.
later to destroy these blocks.
Oh
And
my
one of the
God.
nice things is I can switch tools. So if I click on one, I get my little one. And if I click on two, it'll destroy the first one and create the other one. Something else I've set up because I accidentally just like overtaxed my system was if I click on it a bunch of times, it used to make a bunch of number 1 or 2, but I
One
had it
thing I would
destroy every
say,
time. So
instead of
works.
round, you could use int or floor.
Okay, how do I just literally change round in there to
Yeah,
those words? Sorry, is it, what was it you said?
you just double click round.
Oh, beautiful.
And int. Enter.
I'll change it on this one too. Oh, so that follows a little bit more closely. That actually feels okay for the tiny one. Yeah, actually, you know what? I like the feel of that one. This one, it's not really where I'd want it to be. I kind of want the cursor more in the middle, if that's possible. If not, not the end of the world. But
Yeah,
just
so put the
quality of
cursor in the
life.
middle.
If I do, it just moves away from me.
No. What's your image point on number 2?
Number 2 is top left corner, because if I put the origin point in the middle, it doesn't appear, right? Like I'll show you what I mean. Oh, actually it's in the middle. No, that's the, if I put the origin point, like that's, that's middle enough. Oh, well, now it's working a little bit better. Before it just like, it was like appearing here instead if I had the origin point elsewhere where I'd
Oh, one
like
thing
it
you
to
can
snap.
do, double click on it. Right click origin.
Yep.
Click assign. There you go.
Oh, okay. The thing is though, I think, well, I mean, this time it seemed to work. I think it's just, it's even with the origin point in the middle, the cursor's not really where I wanted it to be.
Okay, but what we want to know is why.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's where I'm lost. This one seems fine. I think it's not quite in the middle, but like it still like feels good. So I'm not too worried about that one. It's just this guy. So maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the origin point because I tried
Yeah,
it.
put the origin on the top left now and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna move this off here so it's less confusing. Put it up there. Let's see what happens.
This is sick.
Oh, it's a little better. Maybe I just need to like move around the origin point until it feels comfortable, because since I do have it snapped to a grid, I guess it doesn't really matter where my origin point is for all intents and purposes here.
I mean, it probably does, but I don't know why.
Yeah, so I'm a little baffled there. It's more of a quality of life thing. Like it still works and there's a good visual representation of where you're gonna click anyway. It just bothers me. Maybe it's something I can figure out later. But.
Oh, go back to your code.
When I have it create, it just spawns at 0 on layer 0 at where my mouse is. I figured that would make most sense. But so it's there that I'm wondering, maybe I can set where it appears in relationship to the mouse before it starts moving.
Oh, that's cool. Oh shit, one sec, I just gotta.
Yeah, no worries.
It's getting kind of hot under my scales.
Oh yeah, I bet. Looks cozy though.
That was
Maybe I
good.
should. There we go. Actually, I don't know
Okay,
why.
that's something I can figure out another time. It's just it's a small but finicky thing that it won't ruin the game at the end of the day. Maybe I can keep messing around with that.
It looks super cool.
Yeah, it
Thanks.
does. Good.
I'm really happy with like how it moves. It feels so like buttery.
Yeah.
I've just been like sitting here like moving it around.
The little trees are so cute. Yeah.
Thanks. I'm gonna have like mountain tiles and ocean tiles as well, and they'll have different like hit points. So like it's like a puzzle game. And
Oh, I have a
when you click
question
on
for
them, it'll take
you.
away. Yes.
How do you? What is forest tile?
So the gist of it is that there are resources hidden under each of these, kind of like battleship style.
No. That's not what I'm wondering.
Oh,
What
then I'm not
wondering is,
understanding the question then, sorry.
what is it like?
Oh, it
Like,
is a sprite?
it's a sprite?
Yeah, it's a ton of sprites because I'm gonna have to like destroy them. So it's like one type of sprite because like the behavior will always be the same for each one, but just like copied all over the thing. Because like when I'm clicking on them,
How did you place them?
I just place them with the grid enabled. So like, for this, so like.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, once I got a bunch of them, I just like copy pasted a bunch of like, rows at a time. Is there a faster way to do that?
Oh yeah, you could programmatically spawn them.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Too late now for that. It actually didn't take too long. And I mean, for the other one, like the ocean ones and the mountain ones, I'm gonna want to place them
No,
where I want
don't
them
make
anyway.
don't make it complicated if it works.
Okay. Yeah, I think just visually for me, this is the best way to go.
I did the same thing with my tiles. I just had one and then I just
One thing I would
Yeah.
recommend though is for your tiles, I would make them the collision polygon actually smaller.
Okay. What would that change, for instance? Or is because I'm
It
gonna be
would make
clicking on
sure that when you like your zone to touch them, when you do a click, you're probably gonna do like overlap or something. It's
okay.
not gonna pick the edges of what's around.
Right. So that's something I'd probably want to create another object as the collision, like the forest tile collision, for instance.
No. Double click on your forest tile. And
Yep.
then collision.
Where?
Oh, I know
I'm not
why.
seeing it.
Collision. It's like it's like the triangle.
Oh, this guy here. Oh, and then I can just like yoink.
I would make it like no. Okay. Okay. So right click on your sprite.
Yeah.
And then set bounding box. There you go. And I have less collision points. Now you can drag them in.
Okay.
Oh, I see. I see.
So
Drag them in more.
Can I do this like on a? Yeah, I'll just do it like right to there. Is that in too far? Well, like I'll definitely be clicking at least that part. Like that's a really good idea.
The reason why your tile looks weird when you select it is like probably because this sprite is not centered.
Yeah, this was just a first rough draft. I'll probably
No. Shit, no, that's not what I mean. I mean the origin.
You lost me.
Okay, then don't worry about it.
Sure. Oh, another question I had is I do have like a barrier here that it's supposed to, well, it's supposed to not let this move further out so that it's not like weird when I'm trying to like click on a new button. I can't get them to collide for some reason. They are both solid and they are both have collisions enabled. I'm not sure which part I missed.
Oh, okay, I can explain. So a solid doesn't make it an impenetrable wall. Solid makes it interact with the other behaviors.
Okay.
So what you can, like, I have a question. Or maybe more like maybe not a question but a suggestion.
Okay.
Because if you make it collide, then it would still be selected when your mouse moves out of it, and so you could accidentally click the wrong thing, right?
Like once I move my mouse out of the play zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wanted to
just prefer to make it so that it goes under the UI layer?
Oh, that might make sense. So I just put like this is all on layer. I'm gonna have to mess around with my layers because it's gonna need several layers, but I would just make the UI on the top layer and it would kind of slide underneath and not see anything.
Yes.
No, that sounds like a good idea, actually. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, that solves that problem pretty easily. Because I had been thinking of how do I just make it invisible once I cross this barrier, but that,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that
shit,
works.
something I should say. Something I should say that's a very important part of this tutorial. Ask questions, talk to other people, bounce ideas, don't stay alone in your head.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sure there's always like really easy solutions for things that I'm overcomplicating just because I haven't experienced it yet.
Like everybody that's like a mentor here, right?
Hmm.
They signed up for this. You're not bothering anyone. They came here expecting you and others, in parentheses, to talk to them, to bother them, to ask them questions, because it's our greatest pleasure to help and be useful to the next generation or whatever.
Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll be bothering you a lot.
Because every year people are like, ah, but I don't want to bother them. Dude, if it's like 2 a.m., you can PM me. I might not respond, but you can do it.
Okay, that's good to know. That'll be super helpful. I definitely won't hesitate to send you messages whenever I'm like stuck on something or just not sure how to, like, the best practice for it, stuff like that.
Because
Yeah,
like
that'd
when
be
your
great.
stuff is broken, when your stuff is broken and you don't understand, it's like the worst feeling.
Yeah.
You're like, you become angry.
Yeah, I can see how it can become demotivating fast.
So make sure you don't get too demotivated.
I have a silly question actually. It just came to mind. Can I like move these, like reorder the object types? I'm a Photoshop person
Wait,
and I
shit.
like organizing these
I
things
have
nicely.
had some Zoom UI. Okay, move what?
In the object types, I have a bunch of different types of objects, but like I just want
You
to
can
reorder them.
right click object types,
Yeah. Oh, my mouse keeps double clicking.
add subfolder.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't.
Probably not worth
Aw.
it for just object folders. Rip. Okay, that's all right. I'll just try to. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not going to create anything in the correct order. I'm just going to
What
live
you
with it.
can do if you want them in the correct order is right now they're sorted alphabetically.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay, I'll just add like or a letter in front of them.
Yeah.
A,
A
B, C,
letter
D,
or a
E, F, G.
number.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's what I will do. That's going to help a lot.
Oh, wait, shit. Other important stuff. Click on this on your large stool sprite.
Yep.
Okay. No, just once.
Oh, just once. Okay. Once.
Go to the properties
Yes.
and then scroll down a little bit. You see here it says make 1-1.
Yes.
That's like a super useful button. It makes it like its original size if you resized it by mistake.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I
Yeah, just press
resized
Ctrl-Z.
it on purpose, but
Just, yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's neat. That's a good thing to know.
Oh, also, it might not be the greatest idea to make everything 250 pixels by 250 pixels.
Yeah, I have.
But it's
Do I
fine.
have things
It's
too
fine.
big?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I think when I created it, it just like, is that what
It's
it
the default size.
defaults? Oh, okay. Where do
If you want to
I?
resize it, you have to press on the resize button. It's like the two arrows going apart from each other.
Oh, this one here. Oh, okay. Yeah. I like started by trying to drag it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna resize it in there. That's a good idea though. Everything is huge.
I think you can drag it. What
Oh,
happens if you
I can. It
the
was
collision?
just
No, that's the collision though. I meant the size. I think you can drag the size.
maybe that. Oh,
What
I guess
happens if you put your mouse in there and drag? What happens? Oh, never mind.
no.
No.
Oh,
In the menu. And then click. No, stop closing it.
no, it's my mouse. It double clicks a lot.
If you click inside the writing space for width pixel, can you drag your mouse there? Oh, up or down?
Oh yeah.
That's so weird. So technically you can drag it.
Okay. Yeah, that was a really good tip. I'll make sure. Well, I'll be making my assets outside of here, but I'll make sure that they're not like huge and being scaled down for this. They really only need to be the size that they need to be. Cool. Okay, that's good to know. So I guess.
Any other questions for Eleanor?
I think I had a little list of no, that one we're good. Not even gonna collide with the barrier. Figure that one out
Yes,
later.
there is a debug page. There's a debug page. So click on construct. Press Shift F4.
Fancy. Because I wanted to like make sure I wasn't like creating a bazillion things by accident or like making sure my kind of hidden variables are easy to see. Although I'll probably just make like something that shows that on the side so I can count things properly. Yeah. That's cool.
Ta-da.
And the last one I actually
Wait, the shortcut, you're probably not going to remember the shortcut. Okay, if you're on the top left, there's like the play arrow. The play arrow has a drag down. Yes, there you go.
Okay, yep, perfect. Excellent. And last one I actually figured out already. It was just how to like, because I didn't want to like delete them when I was trying it without. But
Oh shit, I didn't mention that. Okay,
them.
I will mention that. Let me steal the screen. How do I steal the screen?
I'll just stop sharing and then it should work easily.
Okay. Okay, this is like super important. I don't believe I forgot this. So remember how I said events are made in 3 parts? Right? There's like these two, but like you're like, where's the third part? Oh no. It's like over here.
Oh, there's a hidden event part.
There's like the margin tab thing. And so if you want to move things around, you have to grab this. You can also move around to like, and place your mouse more like here. And it like snaps to be like a sub event instead of a top level event. Although it's kind of weird that it snaps to itself, but whatever, you do you. And so whenever you want to copy paste things, if you just do like this, it's not going to work. You have to select this, right? Or if you want to disable your event, if you do this, it's not going to work. Because you just disabled your condition. So now it's always going to happen.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
You have to do like this. Also, my favorite hotkeys are B to create a new one, and then I can drag it around. Because it makes a blank one instead of doing add event, system, blah, 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 and then remove this, and then decide what I'm gonna do, I can just press B and I have an empty one. My favorite other ones are A to add an action and C to add a condition, and D to disable. Those are some pretty cool hotkeys, and I don't know if you noticed, but when you use this engine, you can always like type stuff like, right? And you can, it will like narrow down, but when you're doing your events and you're like, oh shit, instead of looking for position, you can type position. Right, I think it's like super useful. It's ridiculously useful because you don't have to like, ah, shit, what am I looking for? Where is it? You know?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Cool, 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 cool.
So was there anything else you wanted to show?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can show things for days.
Any questions, Franny, Julia?
Yeah, Franny, speak.
Oh no, I'm good. It's nice watching. I was like here to learn about it. I think I'm using Unity, but I wanted to check this one out, and I like it a lot actually. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you for coming.
No, I really liked it. I really like this one actually. I think I'll use it for something else after, because for me, like visual stuff is a lot better. So I think it's a lot more visually pleasing for me.
Yeah,
Like the stuff. No, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying like the stuff that I did for Unity, like you did so quickly here, and I'm just like, no, it took me hours just to find that button. Like, so it's nice. Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, like when we like showed the engine, and then people were like, "So, Eleanor, why would you recommend Construct?" And I'm like, "It's quick to get something to work." People were probably like, whatever.
Yeah, like seriously. Yeah. I was just like, no, it was so quick here. So it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the number one reason I ended up going with Construct is like some of the things that you would think are super basic, like grids, are not basic at all in Unity. I started like following instructions for how to make a grid-based system I can use
Oh
in
my
Unity and
God.
was just like pulling my hair out. And I pull up in Construct, it's like, oh, okay, show grid, snap to grid, boom, okay, we're done.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm like, no, what have I done? I like had like kind of a goal, and now I'm like, stupid Francis. You could have just been happy. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I mean, I could just go ahead and explain like all of the different object types and behaviors if you want.
That might be helpful. I'm definitely interested in like the behaviors and stuff around like clicking and having objects overlap. Like, well, as you can see in my game, I'm gonna be clicking a certain place and praying that eventually I can make it so that box removes an HP from the boxes below it. So that's, I don't know, that's something that's still boggling my brain. I assume it has something.
Remove HP?
Yeah, so I like the different kinds of boxes. I have the forest one in here, which has 1 HP, so like 1 click basically, and then the other two will have 2 and 3. So like I've started as a the variable, whatchamacallit, I can't remember, instance variable right now. I'm just kind of like, what's confusing me mostly is how on earth do I get this like 4-unit box I'm hovering over my trees to
So
remove.
you have to do your remember the conditions picking. So if they are overlapping your box, then they're picked. And then all you need to do is subtract 1 from the instance variable.
And I can do that pick on click, right?
Oh, yeah,
Using
on click, 3 is overlapping whatever. And
yes. So like when I
since-
click, it'll pick whichever this object is overlapping.
Because when you have condition, if you have a collision condition in the system, like compared to values, it's not going to pick. If you want to pick in the system, you have to go into pick. And now you have like some picking things. So like you would pick by like check like an objects like self.x or something. Ah. 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 Sorry, let's just sit normally. Good, like, stop typing that. Oh, I can type self here. Sorry. Collision.angst is equal to blah, blah, blah. And that would pick. But if you do anything in here, it usually picks it. There's another thing I wanted to mention that I didn't mention. I don't know if you noticed, but some of them have like a green arrow.
Yeah.
Those are called triggers. They auto pick and they only happen once and they happen immediately. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. The doing it once, it's not like they're gonna just keep jumping forever. It's if this something is triggered here, it'll do it once.
Like if I do this, there's an arrow, it will pick every single, like, it will pick the ones that are jumping, but if I do like press a button, jump, then this will happen immediately after the piece of the code that does the jumping instead of happening where it's placed in the event sheet.
Okay.
It's kind of like I don't know how to explain, but that's what it does. It happens immediately when it's the time for it to happen.
So, for example, if your character falls off the cliff and it dies, does that count as a trigger?
What is falling off the cliff and dying? Is it on collision with spikes at the bottom of the screen?
For example, yeah. Or like water, like the person falls in the water, immediately dies. Is that like the trigger? Like, oh, since the character collided with water,
The trigger would be on collision with water.
Okay.
And it will pick the specific object of water that you touched and the specific player object that touched if there's multiple ones. And so you can put events on those.
One more question about the picking. What did you open up to type pick in the search? Because when I'm like looking at events,
I opened system.
So I just like add event system, and then I can. Okay, yep, there we go. Yep, that answers my question. Thank you.
But it's usually better to use the conditions here because it's much easier. Because if you want to like do a pick here, and you do like, I don't know, is greater than, shit, where's my greater than button? Ah! Oh no. Okay. Like, this will pick all of the player, like this will pick all of them that meets this requirement. So, I mean, I guess it does work, but it's more complicated, I guess. It's less intuitive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we're beginners. I don't know. I don't want to put a bunch of stuff in your head and you're like, oh no.
Is the picking stuff what I'm gonna have to use in order to like identify if something's being overlapped though?
If you want to identify if something's overlap, you can do like, let's do conditions. Player is overlapping, and then your mouse thingy. Wait, no, not that angle. Is overlapping another object, and then pick your object. So on click is overlapping, and there you go.
Okay.
Very simple.
And
Wow.
and can I use like that as a subject action to a click? So if, like on left click, then check if
Yeah, you would do it
overlapping.
on. You would put the click first and then overlapping. Otherwise, it will check for overlap on every single frame.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Perfect. That actually helps a lot. I have a lot to play around with now.
Same with me, just for the logic of it all. Yeah.